So what do scholars say? So yeah, I'll reiterate again and again, I'm not a scholar, and I don't give scholarly opinions, but I just relate what the general views of scholars are in my experience. So what do scholars say? So here's, okay, so retail Forex trading. I mean, pretty much every opinion I've seen, apart from one or two really, apart from one or two that I've heard people make reference to, but I've not seen his opinions. I mean, they all say it's haram. This is what I've seen, and this is correct. Right. Then some explain, some do understand some aspect of CFDs, some don't. So as I've said, the reasons they give are not always correct, but the general view from scholars that I've seen, the ones who have any understanding of the financial markets and the foreign exchange markets and retail markets and CFDs, they say it's haram. So these are complex financial products, and it's not a criticism of scholars to say that some of them don't understand the details of the financial complexities. I mean, some scholars do. Some are really good and give really clear opinions, and I really enjoy reading their opinions. And even the scholars that don't really understand the product, but they understand that it's not Sharia compliant. I mean, all scholars' opinions are to be respected, but the only references I've heard once or twice to a scholar maybe saying it is permissible, that those opinions are based on incorrect understanding of these complex financial products. So what can we trade in a halal way? So this is if you're concerned about halal or not. I mean, I'm not telling you should be concerned. It's up to you if you want to trade something that's halal or not. But if you do, right, then I would say CFDs, they really are not halal. So retail forex trading is not halal. So what are the options? Do you have to stop? The answer is no, you don't really have to stop. So what can you trade in a halal way? Potentially equities. Right now I've talked about equities earlier in this series. You have to do Sharia compliant screening or obtain a list of Sharia compliant stocks from a provider. And it depends which markets you want to trade. And sometimes it's free provision of screening, sometimes it's not. But you can trade equities. So you can trade equities, but there's a couple of things to bear in mind. So you have to. I mean, you don't have to do it yourself, but you have to do Sharia screening. Somebody has to do it for you, and so each, the list of stocks in the market, and they have to say it's halal or not based on their screening, and then you can trade these that are past the screening. The other thing to bear in mind is that you can only buy and take long positions, right? This is basic Sharia law. You can only if you buy something, you must take a delivery of it, and if you sell something, you must own it first. So short selling is impermissible. I mean, this is a very well understood rule in contractual forms in trading in all kinds of Islamic sale transactions. You're not allowed to do this, so you can't short sell any assets. But the point I'm making is that if it's a CFD anyway, then you can't do anything. You can't buy it. You can't sell it. You can't short it as well. You can't take a short position. So if you're buying equities, don't take short positions. If you don't know what short positions are, then fine. Don't worry about it, right? If you want to take a position in a certain equity, I'm not advising anything, but I'm just saying you can buy it if you're confident it's Sharia compliant, and then the price will go up or the price will go down, and then you sell it. Fractional shares. So this is a thing that's relatively recent. Some brokers in some markets are introducing this, and this is something I really recommend for Muslims. So let's say, for example, if a particular equity you want to buy is £100 per share, then this is not so cheap. If you have your trading account of £500, so remember, there's no leverage, right? No leverage. You must buy without leverage. So if you have £500, you can only buy 5 shares, and your whole account is gone. You can't invest in anything else. So what brokers are beginning to do now is that they split these shares into fractional shares. So I think you can go to 001, or even number of zeros of one, this amount of a share, right? So if you have, so if a share is, even if it's £100, you can invest £5 per share. You can buy fractions of a share, and this is permissible. And from what I understand, you've got to ask your broker how they operate, but often they do actually allocate to you a certain percentage of a share. Right, so you can buy fractional shares. You must buy them with no leverage, because if you use leverage, and this is indication it's a CFD. Right, so no leverage is permissible, and you can only take long positions, not short. And so if you're on a platform where some brokers let you choose your leverage, so you must choose your leverage to be 1-to-1. This means no leverage when it's 1-to-1, and you must take only buy positions, long, not short. And if it's fractional shares, and you must ask your broker as well. So if I'm buying fractional shares, if they offer fractional shares, and if I'm buying a long position on a leverage of 1 or 0 leverage, am I actually the owner of the shares? Or is it a CFD? Ask them. And some brokers will offer you the option, and I know this, some brokers will say you have the choice. You can trade a CFD, or you can actually own the underlying fraction of shares. And then choose this one. Right, so this is permissible. Okay, so to summarize, is Forex trading halal? If it's a CFD, it's not halal. And every single instance of Forex trading I have seen in my whole life, for every single broker that I've looked at, they offer CFD trading for Forex. So simply ask the broker. I mean, every broker is different. I have not spoken to every broker in the world. I've just spoken to dozens. Ask them, do they offer CFDs? And they will have to say yes or no. In the market that you want, if it's currency pairs or gold or oil, ask them. So there are clues, which are leverage and margin. If you see these things, then this is a very big clue that they are offering to trade CFDs for you. How to ensure your trading is halal. So, if you are concerned about this, it's not me to tell you you should be concerned, but if you are, then look to trade when you're actually buying the underlying asset. I've mentioned equities and fractional shares are possible. You can trade in gold, it's fine, gold or oil, but actually buy the underlying, right? Whoever you're trading off, whatever platform, buy the underlying and take delivery of it. When I say take delivery, I don't mean physical delivery, but whatever security that represents ownership, make sure it's in your account. So don't trade CFDs on gold if you want to trade gold. Islamic Forex accounts, I mentioned, these are swap-free accounts which just relate to interest rate payments, which are replaced by fees on overnight positions, but they refer nothing to the underlying instrument, which is still very often a CFD, and it's a CFD that's not Sharia compliant. So in Islamic Forex accounts, I've emailed many brokers and spoken to them, and I have not seen one that I have any confidence that I think is Sharia compliant. And what's your intention as a Muslim? I mean, that's for you to say. I'm only here to tell you my understanding of the markets and trading and how brokerages work, how the foreign exchange markets work, how trading works, and CFDs and spread betting. This is just my opinion on what is Sharia compliant or not. But just to be clarifying that, I'm not giving my opinion. It's just my statement of opinions from other scholars that have said it's not Sharia compliant, and they're absolutely correct to say that. So to summarize, I hope you found this interesting or useful. Do educate yourself. I mean, so many people trade, Muslims trade, and they don't know what they're trading. They don't know what CFDs are. They don't know how they're trading. They don't know if they're trading CFDs through indices or commodities or equities or cryptocurrencies. If you're trading your own money, you really have to educate yourself. You can't rely on ignorance. If you don't know what you're trading with a CFD or not, then how are you going to know whether how are you going to have the knowledge whether something is halal or not? So your intention is something for you as a Muslim. There are solutions around. As I mentioned, equities and fractional shares seem to be the most appropriate solutions that I've seen in markets. And also be clear on what action you're going to take on the advice. If somebody is going to clearly explain to you why something is not Sharia compliant, then you have to ask yourself, what will you do once you know that? Will you stop? And if you say no, you won't stop, then that's up to you. Then why are you asking for someone's opinion? Then it's easy to look around and find somebody who knows somebody, who's heard of someone, who's got a friend who said that a scholar has said that Forex is halal. It's easy to do that if you want, and that's none of my business. I'm just relating what I know through my experience and from what I know and I've understood and seen of scholars' opinions, and they are, in my view, absolutely clear that CFD trading is not Sharia compliant, and in my experience, the vast vast majority, and by that I mean every single Forex account and broker that I've ever seen trade Forex and other currency pairs and other spreads and other asset classes on CFDs. So that's very clear. Thank you.